Did you record it?
Damn it. It stopped. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll have to see, won't we?
Indeed.
If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. We'll just deal with it. So, welcome back. We're with Jason Rutledge, also known as Hacker. And we're getting ready to talk about his darkest day. So, he had just gone through some body cleanse from the Cleveland VA with methadone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure 90% of you vets out there are laughing your asses off right now because only the VA would treat a vet with a fucking synthetic heroin. Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. How to go?
I felt great. I felt really good, man. I was upright. I was breathing, kicking ass, taking names. I was always on the move doing something. My back still bothered me, but not nearly as bad.
Right. Tolerable. Livable.
Tolerable, very. So here I am. I'm at the Stark State School in Canton, Ohio, going through my degree, getting some education and stuff, and I'm deep into the methadone. Feeling real good. There wasn't anything specific about the day, the time, the date. None of that stuff was unique.
Not a significant time in your life. Nothing.
So there I was. I drove from Stark State. I was going to TGI Fridays for lunch.
6 minutes away.
Because why not, right?
Right. 6 minutes out.
I'm on the way, and there's part of the road. It's right there in front of B-Dubs, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. The road swoops to the left, and then it swoops to the right a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then there's an entrance into that little strip mall that's right there. So I'm driving. I'm in a Suburban. I don't know what year, but just a Suburban. Driving, and I look up, and this fucking car like swoops right in front of me and cuts me off. I ditch to the left so that I don't get hit, and I look over, and I couldn't see the driver nowhere. I'm like, it's probably some punk ass fucking kid, and it triggered me. Like, I was done.
Right.
So mash the gas pedal, flip the bitch right there in the middle of the turning lane, and the two lanes going the opposite direction, right there in front of B-Dubs, and pulled in beside this car, and I got around in front of it, and I jumped out. I blocked it so the car couldn't leave. I blocked, and I got out, and I'm walking up to the car, ready to pull this dude out the car and whoop his ass. And there's Grandma. When I say Grandma, I mean like blue hair Grandma.
4'6".
Yes.
Yeah.
Like holding on to the steering wheel like this, barely looking over the wheel, and I'm just fucking irate. And I'm like, she wouldn't even look at me, dude. Like I couldn't.
Right.
What do you do? She's
Nothing.
Probably terrified I had a fucking heart attack or something.
Right.
But I'm so pissed off, and I'm so enraged that I kicked the side of the car, and I put a huge dent in the door, and I'm sure that I yelled and cussed and bitched and complained and told Grandma to get her fucking license renewed or something, and I got in the truck and I left. I started driving back to Fridays, or heading back towards Fridays. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm all kinds of fucked. So I went home. And Jamie was working. Jamie's my wife. She's a nurse. So I told her what happened, and she's like, "You need to call somebody right now." She's like, "That's not normal." Big fucking argument, big to do. And at the end of the argument, I said, "You know what? Fuck that."
Of course.
Fuck that. I don't need this.
Nope. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
I went to the bathroom and I dumped the bottle of methadone in the toilet and flushed it.
Okay. Now, these are pills or
pills?
Okay.
Pills. Methadone, as you pointed out, is a pretty powerful freaking medicine. It's a pretty potent drug.
Yeah.
Well, I just quit cold turkey.
Yep. You can't do that.
No.
There's
another major argument from the wife. She was like, "You can't just flush that shit.
You
got to schedule
His wife is a nurse.
Yeah, she's a nurse. She knows. She's her own worst freaking patient.
Yep.
But she's screaming at me, "You can't do that. You're gonna cause your body to go." And then I tuned her out, so I don't know what she said. I'm sure it was like, you're gonna send your body into shock and whatever, and you're gonna go to the hospital. You could die and whatever else. I'm sure. But at that point, my mind was so not focused on anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't feel nothing.
Right.
I didn't say nothing. I don't even remember what I did after I dumped the bottle, but man, I was fucking out of it. I was done.
Right.
So that was the cold turkey day.
I'm betting about 3 or 4 days later.
Yeah, I was sick. I was not feeling happy,
right.
and we went through a terrible time.
Did you wind up hospitalized at all?
I did not,
No.
fortunately, because I was too damn stubborn
Too damn stubborn.
to go. So,
Probably should have.
Yeah, I absolutely should have. I absolutely should have, and I know that now. But that was my cold turkey day, man. That was my, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, why are you acting like this? And what are you gonna do about it? Well, I didn't do anything about it for another year or so.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it took me 6 years to completely recognize that I needed help.
6 years from the time you got out.
From the time I got out. It took me 6 years to realize, damn, dude, you got to get your shit together.
And what put you over the? What finally made you go?
I have no doubt that it was an argument with Jamie or maybe the kids, but it was just one of those days that I was. So you walk around, man. You're fucking pissed off at everything, everybody, for no reason.
Right.
No reason at all.
Nope.
Absolutely no reason. You look at me wrong, fuck you.
Right. Let's throw down.
Yeah, like, what are you looking at? Oh, thud. We just got into a fight. You know, I didn't care. I didn't want to listen to anybody. I didn't want to hear anything. I didn't want to feel nothing. I was a zombie, dude, but I was wide awake and I just didn't care.
Were you taking any meds at all? No, nothing at all. And you weren't going to any psych?
Nope.
No mental health treatment?
Nothing.
You didn't know Batman was in town?
No, I didn't. I hadn't met him.
Had you met the Leathernecks yet? So you hadn't met the Leathernecks yet?
No.
So
I'm literally on my own, bro.
So one of my, which is where I was too,
Yep.
and you know that story. Yep. One of my questions when I talk to people is, well, what do you notice about yourself what did it take for you to get that next step? And you just said it all. I was pissed off for no reason at everybody for everything.
Everything.
There
and
was
anything
not
for
one
nothing.
that you were just pissed off. And you say it was ultimately probably an argument with Jamie and the kids. Whereas my argument was, the line that sticks out in that argument with Trisha was, nobody fucking wants to be around you.
Yeah.
Your kids don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around you. You don't have any friends. Who are you going to call right now? There's nobody for you to call. You've done pissed everybody off.
Yeah.
And that was my darkest moment. That was it. I was ready to eat the bullet right then and there. You know, and 3 days later I call you and we go for the ride on Save 22 ride for the dams, and you know the rest is history, you know. But where'd you go when you said, okay, finally I need help?
I sucked it up and I finally went back to the VA, but at that point in time I had gone back to the VA.
So like 2012, 2013 area we're
12,
talking?
Yeah. I go back to the VA and I, of course, I didn't tell them everything that happened because there was no way I was going to tell them everything.
Well, why would you?
Right. That's the end of the world for them. Says every vet.
Every vet ever, right?
Ever.
Right.
So I told him what I knew I needed to. I was like, listen, I called the clinic and I told him, the mental health clinic, I called the line and I was like, listen, man, I think I need to come in and see somebody. And immediately the person on the phone, their tone changed, everything changed. I didn't get stuck on hold.
You can get put on hold like me?
No, I didn't get put on hold. But
hey, I'm sitting in my truck with a loaded 45 and I think I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Please hold.
This is how twisted veterans are. We're laughing about that right now.
Right, laughing about it now, right.
Not so much in the moment, but
you noticed her tone change. Like she knew you were serious.
It was a dude, actually.
You knew he was serious.
Yeah,
he knew you were serious.
And he says, well, listen, let me ask you right now. Are you feeling suicidal? Are you homicidal? Do you feel like you're going to do anything reckless? And I was like, no, I'm not at that point. And let me caveat that with, I'd actually, even to today, not had a suicidal thought. Homicidal, you goddamn right. I'm ready to murder some motherfuckers for nothing. Just because, and again, I don't know why.
You don't know why.
I don't know why.
Just do it.
What'd you say? Okay, I'll just shoot you and call it a day. Like, my back hurts too much to get into a fight. I'm just gonna shoot somebody.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But anyway, I wasn't ever suicidal, and it wasn't one of those things that I even considered. And to this day, somebody asked me about that. Well, why didn't you ever consider suicide? You run a nonprofit that's all about veteran suicide. I'm like, you know, there's someone in our group of Save 22 that has experienced everything. Not all of us at once, but each individual person has something that they can bring to the table.
Right.
That's just one of those things that I do not have the relation to. Now, I've spoken to a shitload of veterans that have had those suicidal thoughts.
Me,
you know,
right.
and I know how to work through them with them. But anyway, so squirrel. Yeah. Back to the VA. Yeah. So the guy on the phone's like, okay, well, let's get you set up. Are you available to come in this afternoon? And I'm like, really? Like this afternoon? And that's how serious they took it, you know.
Right.
And I was like, no, actually, no, I can't because I don't know what I was doing. But we scheduled an appointment for a couple of days later, and I got in there. They were very welcoming, very patient, and I sat down with. I don't remember if it's the psychologist or psychiatrist. I had to sit with both of them.
Right.
But I talked to each of them individually, and then we had a 3-session, a 3-person session with the shrinks, and we collectively decided what a good start to a program was. So started me on meds again. They went through the titration schedule to make sure that it worked its way into the system. And for everybody out there, you take these magic meds, that shit does not work overnight. It takes weeks or months for your body to build the tolerance for the therapeutic dose. So you can't just, oh, well, the VA is going to give me meds tomorrow. It doesn't work like that.
Right. You don't take it at 8 in the morning and 3 you're golden, and all of a sudden everything's, unicorns and rainbows.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
That'd be awesome.
Right.
So we'll go through the schedule, and they set me up for regular appointments, and I'm going through different docs, and the one doc, this is the only issue that I've had with the VA. You know, I felt like I was teaching that dude.
Which clinic was this?
This is Canton VA.
Oh, the wonderful Canton VA.
Yeah. But that one specific shrink was never served. He was one of them Ivy School grads, and, you know, good for him, I guess. If you got the money and the knowledge to go to an Ivy school, good job. You got shit to tell me because you didn't experience shit in life.
Nope.
From what I could tell. So, you know, I'm trying to work through problems and trying to come up with alternative solutions to, instead of just jumping right from 0 to 1,000, ready to tear somebody's damn head off. Well, I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere, so I told him one day, I was like, dude, you're not fucking helping me for nothing. I was a real dick, too. I'm sure I was in a bad mood for something, but I just told him, I was like, I'm done fucking talking to you. You find me somebody else or I'll go somewhere else. They found me somebody else to talk to, and that lady's like, I'm so sorry. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So I finally get my meds squared away, man. But listen, it took 6 years of trial and error and ups and downs and fucking relationship, wife problems, kid problems, you know. It took a long time for me to get my shit together.
Now,
and I was just exhausted.
When you say to get your shit together, this is 6 years after the 6 years?
No, this is the 6 years when I finally
said, okay,
called the VA and said, look, I need help.
Right.
That was the moment. So that was my.
Do you remember anything that they had you on to get you started and how long they did it?
Oh man, pretty much all of the meds that end in dol, tramadol.
Yeah.
You know, I forget the generic names, but the Valiums, the Xanaxes, and but you know, the VA doesn't give you the brand name. You get the generic version, which is pretty much the same damn.
And they don't ever give you what they think you need right off the bat because they have to follow the schedule. So they start off with the minimum stuff, which shrinks your dick and turns your poop green. And then, you know, 3 months later, you're like, look, man, my dick fell off and I pooped green. And they're like, oh, well, let's finally change it. So when they change it, okay, well, now this one grows hair out of your ears and you gain 25 pounds of fat on your belly. And oh, by the way, you have no motivation to do anything. And then 3 months later, they come back and go, okay, well, let's double that. And you're like, what the fuck?
Spoken from a man who's been there.
Oh my God, I have definitely been there, brother. So
even to today, though, I still go back and forth with meds. And trying to get the right thing to work. So
I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, that's fine.
Still struggling with those meds, even today. Are you on anything now?
Yeah, I take a few drugs now.
Okay. Still see the VA?
I do on occasion. It's not nearly as much because the regimen that I'm on is very effective. So at this point, I know my body so well that the tolerances, once the medicine, I build up the tolerance and I start experiencing the small triggers here and there. I'm like, okay, it's time to call the VA. Hey, I just need you to increase my meds.
So you're at that therapeutic dose. You know that it's working.
Yeah. And the relationship that I have with the psychiatrist and psychologist at the VA, is not one that happened overnight. You know, this took a lot of appointments. It took a lot of visits, a lot of phone calls.
It took commitment.
A shitload of emails through all of my additional deployments in the civilian world. It took a long time, but I finally found the right meds, and it's actually a neurological med, nortriptyline. It tells my brain that there's no problem with my back, and the shit actually works. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I can see you know, when we're out riding and we're gone for a few hours.
Yeah.
You know, that gets to it, but that's all of us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
that's
you,
that's a Harley, bro. You don't buy a Harley for comfort.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know, you know that it's going to be coming. You
right.
prep. You know, you've got some Motrin or some
preload.
You preload.
Preload or smoke a joint, whatever.
Yeah. That's not for this show.
No.
So what I'm really curious about is how you found Safe 22.
Well, Safe 22. Okay, so we started. I got a phone call. At this time, I was taking Ambien. Oh my God, I don't take Ambien anymore.
No,
literally lost blocks of my life, bro. It was bad. Mm-hmm. But I'm taking Ambien, and Tom Indorf was the other guy, also a Marine. Him and I started Safe 22. He calls me one night at like 11 o'clock, and apparently I had like an 11-minute conversation with him, which I don't remember any of it. So the next morning, I'm like, hey, dude, you called me last night, and we had a conversation. What the hell was that all about? So he laughs, of course. He laughs. And then he goes through the whole thing, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And he's like, that's exactly what you said last night.
So what did he say to you?
So he said,
when you came to the next day, what did he say?
What he said was, that's funny. I didn't say what he actually said, huh? What he said was, he's like, hey man, I want to do a hike just to bring veterans together, raise awareness, you know, and talk about veteran issues. At the very jump, it wasn't about veteran suicide. It was just, let's get our community together.
Us vets together.
Yeah, get the vets together, you know, provide an outlet, and there's a lot more that goes in with that outlet that I can talk about in a minute.
Sure.
Here.
So for those that don't know, we're small town Ohio.
Yeah.
Carrollton only has a stoplight because it intersects two state highways.
Yeah.
My town only has a light because Interstate 77 goes through it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we have stoplights.
Grassroots.
Yeah. So our communities are small, but they're very.
There's a lot of veterans.
There's a lot of vets
in the surrounding counties.
Yeah, in our counties here.
Well, so that was it. I mean, it was because you went to the military, you went to college, or you worked on the farm the rest of your life.
Right.
That was really it. You know, or you're a drug dealer, or, you know,
right.
Shit bag basically.
There ain't a whole lot. Here.
So the veteran community is very dense in the areas. There's a lot of us here. So it started off just, let's get everybody together, and we sit down and we're going through all of these meetings, and you hear about veteran suicide here and there, and then it quickly morphed into, well, let's do this to raise awareness for veteran suicide. You know, Tom has his demons, and I'm sure at some point you'll have him.
He just called me yesterday, and we're going to set something up.
There
Our
you go.
schedule's got to match.
So I'm definitely not going to get into his story. That's his.
Nope, that's his to tell, right?
And we talked it out, and days later, we're still hours and hours out of the day. We're talking back and forth. We finally came up with a really Barney style plan, and it was, fuck it, let's just go for a walk. We started at the VFW, and we walked to the fairgrounds, and in Carrollton here, it was 7 miles, I think it was, just under 7 miles, give or take, and huge community support. You know, we expected 100, 150, 200 people max. Mm-hmm. We had almost 1,000 people showed up for the first hike.
For the very first hike, right.
And we didn't have advertisement. We used Facebook, man. We didn't even have, at the time, we didn't have Riley on board with us. Riley's our social media director, dude. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have any of that other stuff. We just had Facebook and phone calls and flyers that we had printed out and posted around the town. So, but we had people come from all over, and it was amazing. It was magical.
So that would have been 2015.
Yep.
And then
the first hike was the first Saturday in May.
Yep.
Of 16.
And now, I'm glad you brought up the first Saturday in May.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me,
this guy right here,
why the first Saturday in May is important in Ohio now.
So this was Tom's idea. I was the one that got to execute the full thing. The first Saturday in May in Ohio is recognized as Veteran Suicide Awareness Day, as a result of House Bill 202, which yours truly, Hacker, most non-politically correct person ever, walked into the House of Reps in Columbus and testified. That's the word they use. I just talked, but I testified to the problem and what we were doing and what we were trying to accomplish, and then all of the reps, they all jumped on board and said, yeah, absolutely. So the resolution was introduced onto the floor. They voted on it while I was in Puerto Rico. We got to watch that. That was pretty awesome.
Yep.
And Andy Thompson was the representative that really went out of his way to make sure that happened. Andy Thompson recently passed of a heart attack, so he's not with us anymore. But he called me out by name on national television, talking about the good things that we're doing, and I'm not that guy that wants my name out there. I let Tom do all that stuff. I like to be the guy in the background just making shit happen.
Absolutely.
So that's the first Saturday in May.
And that didn't happen overnight, right? That was a 2 or 3 year process, if I remember right.
Well, no, for the House bill, it was probably 8 months by the time it was all done.
17 when the bill was passed? 17 or 18? When were you in Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico was 17. Hurricane Maria was 17, 18, so it would have been either end of 17 or early 18. Shit, I don't remember now.
I think 18 was the first year that we recognized it at the hike.
Yeah.
Because that would have been year 3, and then year 4 we had the other deal. And year 4 was pretty amazing because we had topped 600 people, I think, just for the hike.
Yep. It was amazing. Which
didn't include all the people that donated online, all the support that we got.
Yeah.
It was really amazing.
It was. So that's how the first Saturday in May came about. We did our first hike. We put it together over the course of about 4 months. It was a November time frame when Tom called me. We put it together pretty quick, and we executed. It was controlled chaos at its finest. But it worked, and it worked well. And here we are 5 years later, and we're an accidental nonprofit. That's a no shit term, believe it or not.
An accidental nonprofit?
An accidental nonprofit. You found a good cause. You found something that needed done, and a nonprofit was spurred from that. Accidental nonprofit. Like, you got a great idea. You got a great cause. You want to do something that serves somebody else other than yourself, and it falls into the category of a nonprofit. Accidental nonprofit.
I got chills, bro. I got chills.
That's how it's born.
You know, for those of you that listen to The Darkest Day, Jason's the one that told me to hang up the phone and get on the bike and come meet him.
Yeah.
And I did. And we rode that entire day. I was pissed off the whole time because I didn't know where we were going. I'm kind of a control freak like most of us. So to just ride in the back of a group of guys that I'd never rode with before,
it had its challenges, but
it did have some challenges. But we got there at the end, and if nothing else, I was just surrounded by other people. And then I got to learn more about the Save 22 mission. And then he called me the next day, and we talked some more. And then we talked some more. And then we find out we have mutual friends in common, so we start meeting more often. And then something in me clicks, like, this is something I can get on board with. Yep. Absolutely. And I have been, at least in my mind, one of the strongest advocates for Save 22 and what they do and how to get the awareness out. And it's not just about the suicide awareness stuff either. If you're curious out there, Save 22 has built a backyard playground for a veteran family. They built a ramp access to a house for a family. We have gotten interviews. We have hooked people up with how to write their resumes to transition from military to civilian lingo. Financial assistance for those that need it. House hunting. We've done a little bit of that. Another guy that's going to be on the show, Albert Wooden, is the CFO.
He's the pres.
He's the president of Save 22. He's down around Myrtle Beach. He's currently working on a huge deal for us to get
some vacation time
for veterans. And it looks like it's going to happen, but not just on our own. It all happens with just
There's
tons
a lot
of support from people. Man, I got goosebumps. My nips are hard. My hair's standing up. I mean, I'm just pumped, man. I am. Because I didn't know what this was going to bring. I mean, I've heard your story before, but to put us together and put it out there for others, it doesn't change the dynamic.
Yeah.
But it changes the narrative, I guess, a little bit, because you're not talking directly to me. You're talking to everyone.
Yep.
And
so let me caveat that. If the AMVETS, American Veterans Poker Run, is they do it to support Save 22.
To support Save 22, right?
So last year they asked me to come out and do a speech. So I told them when we first got there, and we're at the AmVets post, the Legion there, and I told them, I was like, I don't really want to get in front of this big crowd right now and talk. Can we do it at the first stop or the second stop or whatever? So this works for me because I don't want to stand in front of 1,000 fucking people. And the reason is you lose that interaction. You lose that personal
intimacy
connection, the intimacy of the conversation. So when I gave my speech at the bar, funny enough, at the bar. Yeah. So at the first, I think it was the second stop, actually, the poker run. I gave my speech, man, and everybody in the crowd registered what I said.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the crowd had shed tears, or they had reached over and grabbed somebody and gave them the shoulder or gave them a hug or whatever. That's what I am more about. I'm more about making sure that I would rather talk to the ones and twos versus the hundreds and 300s.
Right.
You know, that works for me. So this Saturday is actually the next poker run.
This Saturday is the poker run.
Where you'll hear a lot of the same things that I've said today, but I like to do the more intimate. I like that more intimate settings.
You know, I think
I thrive.
I think this is going to wind up being our episode 1.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I think we're going to drop this on October 6th at 1900. So
definitely.
By the time this comes out, the poker run will be done. We will have made, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
You know, the COVID thing kind of affects, but man, us bikers don't seem to take those rules.
Nah, we don't care
Too seriously.
We do what we want.
But so listen, go ahead and plug the website, man, please.
Save22.vet. www. The word save and then the number 22.v as in Victor Echo Tango. Veteran, VET. And Facebook, all of them. Twitter, they're all Save22.veteran or Save22.vets. Everything, we're on all of them.
And Save 22, there's a link in there or a button where you can
donate, you can apply.
Now, when it says apply, all they're asking for is a little bit of info.
Yep.
It's not a
Basic
whole lot.
Info.
It's not, I want to hear your story, you know, how many times you try to kill yourself. It's none of that stuff.
No.
And what it does is protect them in an insurance situation. So if they were to call you up, like, we're going to pause right here for just a second and edit it out.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the motorsports outreach.
Good. I wondered if you had a plan for that.
I do. So, Save22.vet, there's a apply button, there's a donate button, there's all kinds of links that you can get to. Merchandise. The merchandise directly supports Save 22 and goes to some of those programs that we were talking about with financial aid or, you know, help with bill pay. It helps with a ton of stuff. The reason I bring up the apply button is you're not applying for anything. You're just putting your name out there that we can contact you and say there's a fishing trip. We do fishing trips on Lake Erie for walleye.
Yep.
Albert
does them out of North Carolina.
Does them out of North Carolina, which is deep sea fishing now, right? I think we're looking into some camping stuff in cahoots with another organization down in New Philly. Yep. We're looking at some overnight camping stuff.
We've sent guys to Pegasus Farms, a horse ranch.
Pegasus Farms is a horse ranch.
It's amazing.
The equine therapy is amazing.
Yeah.
Those guys at Pegasus Farms are phenomenal. I'm going to get them on here too. But I bring this up because
this guy,
Hacker, calls me up one day and says, "Hey, bro, what are you doing next weekend?" I'm like, I don't know, dude.
It's an open-ended question. Just drop a
let's
generic.
see. What are we doing? He says, "Well, I know you're kind of a gearhead, and there's some racing going on at Mid-Ohio. And this race team, Alliance Racing, would like to do a motorsports outreach with Save 22, and the first guy we thought about was you." And I'm like, "Sweet, what do I got to do? You're like dog and pony, shake some hands, sell some merch. What do I got to do?" "No, man, just go. Hang out. Enjoy yourself. If you talk about Save 22, great. If you give out some hats or shirts, great. Sure, no problem. You know, make sure the number's out there, Save 20, all that kind of stuff." Well, we kind of made some arrangements because I didn't want to go by myself. And those of you that have been single for a long time and then find the one that you absolutely love, you don't want to do anything without that other individual. And I find that it's more gratifying and satisfying when you share these experiences with the one that you love. So they made the statement that my wife is my support mechanism, and she has to go with me.
Caretaker.
Caretaker was the word they used. Well, we didn't have to lie because Brandon Graham, who is the team manager for Alliance Racing, would have let her in anyway.
Yeah.
So Brandon meets us on a Saturday morning, kind of shows us around the cars. One of the first things I notice is it's Gas Monkey Energy trailer, Gas Monkey sponsorship on 3 of the cars, Save 22 stickers on every single car. I am just in awe. Like, this is the real deal. And this is Formula 4, which is powered by Honda. And they are having a condensed schedule this year, but they are running, I think the total is 6 weekends. And it ends up being like 20 to 24 races in those 6 weekends. So we play around that Saturday, and I'm watching some other stuff, some sports car club stuff and vintage race cars. And I come back and I see this guy digging at a steering wheel. Now, these are the IndyCar style, button shift, pop off steering wheels, electronics everywhere. And I can tell he's struggling with wiring. And he says, you know anything about this? I'm like, well, I did aircraft maintenance for 15 years and was a flight engineer for another 8. And I work in the civilian world in electronic. Why? What's up? I hate electronics, he said. Can you figure this out? So I found a wiring issue on this thing. And it was too much to dive into at the racetrack, so he said they'll fix it at the shop next week. Well, Saturday night is all done and wound up, and I said, hey, thanks for the weekend. They said, are you coming back tomorrow? Do you want me back tomorrow? Yeah, well, if you don't come back tomorrow, we can't offer you a job. I'm like, what?
You said what now?
What? A job? Yeah, okay, you're just joshing me. I said, I'll be here. I said, what time you guys be here? I don't remember what it was, but I was there 30 minutes before them.
Of course.
And showed up, ended up changing some tires, troubleshooting some stuff. And lo and behold, that Tuesday, the race was over on a Sunday. That Tuesday, Brandon called me and he said, I want to offer you a job as a fly-in mechanic to our races. I don't need you at the shop. I need somebody who's familiar with race cars and how pits run and how a race is set up to work in our pits during the races. And I thought, wow, okay. He goes, yeah, we'll fly you down, put you up in a hotel, feed you all weekend, and send you home when the race is over. I got to talk to the wife, but fuck yeah.
Yeah. Freedom boner.
So, yeah, I've been down to Virginia International Raceway with them. We ended up going for 5 days this time. One was a test day, promoter test or promoter tune or whatever it was called. And then we took 6 cars, wrecked 11 times, put 10 cars back on the track, and every car but one made every race but one.
Nice.
Yeah. So they called me back that Wednesday and said, we're going to renegotiate your terms. We want to pay you more.
Yeah.
So
sold.
Again, Save 22 hooked me up with this on just a weekend. Hey, let's get you out into something that we know you love and are passionate about and have a good time. And it has turned into a part-time gig for me.
Yep.
I'm not required to be there. I can go if I can. If I can't, it's no big deal. If I pick up the phone and say, hey, I want to go racing, they're like, great, we'll see you down here at this time, this day. They buy my tickets. I show up. We race. I go home.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing. And I have met some amazing people. And with that, David Burkett is a driver with Alliance Racing. His mom, Sonia, I met her at VIR. And she doesn't like to call herself a motivational speaker. She calls herself a public speaker.
Yeah.
She's also a published writer. She's been published here and in the UK. And she said after our course of talking, which was supposed to be about 3 minutes, turned into 30, both of us in tears at the end of it. She calls me a couple days later and she goes, I have an opportunity for you and I think it would be fantastic. And that woman is one of the driving factors behind this podcast.
Yep.
So to Sonia and to Save 22, a huge thank you, because without that, this would not be.
Yes, sir.
I had no idea how to start a podcast. I've wanted to for years, but never had the knowledge of how to do it. Sonia set me up. Her husband, Ivan, is a phenomenal engineer, audio engineer, and award-winning engineer, Ivan. Inside joke. And, yeah, here we are. And it looks like it's going to work, and it's going to do great things. So, you know, to take something with you with this, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I do. I want to backtrack. So I don't know who all was taking pictures when you were out the raceway, but there was a picture of you. You had your arm on somebody's shoulder and you were pointing. The shit-eating grin on your face, man. I called Albert. I was like, did you see this picture that Flyboy just posted? And he's like, yeah, I saw that. And at the same time, we both talked about the smile on your face. Well, like, that is a happy motherfucker. And Albert and I both, we just, without really saying all of the words, we're like, that's why we do what we do.
That's right. That is why we do what we do. It's
every conversation, this podcast, every opportunity. If you reach one veteran, that's a success.
Right.
If I reach 1,000 veterans, man, that's just amazing.
I got chills right now.
But
just thinking about
that shit-eating grin was all the justification that we needed to ensure that we push forward with all of our motorsports programs.
Yep.
So I don't want to steal too much, but we have he's involved with the IndyCar stuff, NASCAR, NHRA. You know, we've got Lex June Racing of NHRA. When they reduce some of the restrictions, we're got guys that are going to go hang out in the pits with them and do some generic labor type stuff, get tires or lunch or whatever, you know. But you're getting all access passes. Mike Harmon Racing and
NASCAR.
You know, them guys are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Them guys are
Give
amazing.
Mike Harmon a follow on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, because that man, he is a legend in the sport, in the NASCAR world. And the things that he does on his limited budget are absolutely amazing.
Phenomenal.
And that man needs some credit, needs some sponsorship.
Did they find their trailer yet?
I don't know that they found their trailer.
I don't remember which raceway they were at, but they had their trailer and both the cars was in it?
2 cars out of there stolen, yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, ridiculous. But
that shit-eating grin is why we're going to ensure.
That shit-eating grin picture is on JohnnyMoMedia. It is on Alliance Racing. It is on
it's everywhere.
My personal Instagram. It's on Facebook.
Pretty sure it's on the Save 22 website
I'm pretty sure it's on the Save 22 website as well. So just take a look. I had just got done doing the right front brakes on this Dodge 3500 dually for them.
Yeah.
In the rain with minimum tools.
Made it happen.
And I made it happen, and they got the truck back to Indy, and they were just ecstatic. They were like, man, we didn't think we were going to leave with this truck today.
Well.
Sorry, I just did. Sorry, I mean, I saved you a night in a hotel. But, no, Alliance Racing, Brandon Graham, Save 22, Sonia Burkett, Ivan, David, all the guys, just absolutely thank you very much. So,
but Jason, the only way you get to those programs is you have to go to the website. You have to apply, and we're going to vet you. So the reality is when people think about free programs, they're going to scam the system. And it sucks to say this, but we've had people claim to be veterans, asking for assistance, support, or whatever, and they are not veterans. So we're going to vet you. We're going to collect some information. You know, we're not asking you to tell your life story, but we're going to verify that you are a veteran. You apply for these programs, and once you're checked out, man, we're gonna do everything we can. We'll do everything we can as long as we can. You know, if we don't have the tools, we have a network. Huge network of people that we can get anybody anywhere. There was a veteran that was going through crisis in Florida. He needed to get to Cali Palms, which is a rehab facility in Youngstown, which I want to take you over there.
Okay.
We got him to Youngstown from Florida. He went through his inpatient rehab, and I met him I guess it's a little over a month now. I met him recently, and man, he's just all smiles and all grins. So, you know, you have to go to the website, you have to apply, and get your name out there so that we know who's interested in these programs. And the donations are what keeps us moving. We're all volunteers. None of us get paid for doing what we do. We do it all in our free time the best that we can. And keeping it moving.
We are, and we've made it 5 years so far. So here's to another 5 more.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jason, thank you. Thanks
man.
for sharing your story. Thanks for being a great friend. I don't know where I'd be without you guys.
Yeah.
So reach out, JohnnyMoMedia.com, coming soon. This guy's going to build it for me.
Yep.
JohnnyMoMedia on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Save22.vet. And if you're in crisis, you can always reach out to the Veterans Crisis Line. And my notepad is gone. So
that's okay. Hey, so listen, I want to say one last thing. Albert has this thing that he always says: if you're gonna talk about it, be about it.
Be about it.
So right there it is.
Mine's upside down.
This is upside down
because I'm not right here. There it is.
It's I got your 6.
It's right there.
You know, for those that are just listening, you can't see the video, but you know, I got it tattooed right on the inside of my arm. That when I shake somebody's hand, they look down and they see that. That's an immediate understanding.
It's an immediate conversation getter. Hey, what's that tattoo?
Is.
What's Iggy 6?
Yep. If they don't know what it means, then it's conversation starter.
Let me tell you a story. Here it comes.
That's what it is, man. If you're gonna talk about it, be about it. Don't talk the talk. Actually do it. And that's what we do. That's what we do.
We do.
We have a great time doing it. Well, not always, but we have our struggles. We're all alphas.
We are all alphas. No doubt we're all alphas. We are all. There is not one beta in the group. Not at all. So
true story.
Meetings tend to take a while.
Yeah.
Hey, I need 15 minutes of your time, and 3.5 hours later, we haven't gotten past the first item of business.
Sure.
So, but listen, again, thank you.
Yes.
Save22.vet.
Yep.
JohnnyMoMedia on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll talk at you next time.
Awesome. Deuces.
And like Dave says, we'll get through this together.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Totally fucked up your recording there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
But I wanted to make sure we could see it.
But dude, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got an hour and 15 minutes, bro.
Oh yeah.
I think he can get a little bit out of that. What do you think?
So tell him to condense some of the good shit, and then for the real podcast, and then just dump the rest of it on fucking Facebook, man. Dump the full thing.
Just dump the whole thing on there.
Why not?
Okay,
that's up to you.
Well, I want people
whatever
to,
works.
Well, I want people to go to the Apple Podcast. That's what I want.
Oh, so the Apple Podcast is only 15.
Well, no. Spreaker is only 15.
Oh.
My podcast can be as long as it wants.
So he's going to edit those together to make one.
He's going to edit it to make one.
Oh,
but
perfect.
we're going to have, they're going to be 15-minute segments because Spreaker, I can only do 15 minutes at a time unless I up it.
Oh, okay.
Now, if I up it, I can go 45 minutes at a time.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's $240 a year.
Oh.
So we're kind of waiting to see how this goes. I don't want to pay for it and then I get 5 fucking downloads.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever.
Right.
Which I don't think is going to happen. To be honest with you, I think this is going to fucking take off and it's going to end up being too much.
Yep.
That's what I think. But
that's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. I'm not there yet, so I don't need to plan for it right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I can get him to knock them down into, 10 to 15 minute segments, and he says right now the long podcasts are not in. Me, they're in for me because my drive is an hour to an hour and a half. That's different.
When I worked at St. Clairsville, that's what I had to do too.
Yeah.
Audiobooks or fucking podcasts. They were all swingers, but
So what he will do is knock them down, and then we'll have part 1, part 2, part 3, whatever we need to do.
Yeah, because then you got to think about attention span and, how long you're actually going to be mobile before you get somewhere and whatnot. So, yeah, that makes sense.
And like he said, if we had 5 of these and he wants to make, 5 15-minute episodes or 5 10-minute episodes out of them, we just got 5 weeks of fucking podcast right here. So we can bring people back after that first one. We can bring them, however he wants to do it. However he thinks is going to be great. I just got to put him in the can.
Yep. Let him do his wizardry.
Right. So he'll put the intros in. He'll put the outtakes in. He's probably going to tell me to have some kind of outtakes recorded and stuff. But, yeah, that's what we got right now.
Titties and beer, bro.
So I can publish all these and we can get these on the board.
Fucking titties, man. It's awesome.
So I use my hashtags of JohnnyMoMedia, Straight Talk, Veteran, Suicide, PTSD, 22. It won't do 22. can only do 5 at a time. Really? Explicit content. No download. Private.
So look at this dude's fucking house, man. Did you go to Horrorpalooza?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you wouldn't know the area then.
But, well, I know. Where is that?
This is this motherfucker's house. It is in, I'll tell you in a second. Well, let me go back to the picture. So, this far left, Gamble. Well, no, that's not Gable. That's it. But the far left side of the house, look at this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Is a basketball court. 7,500 square feet this fucking guy's house is.
Jesus. What's this about? What's this for? What are you rewiring?
Setting up his network in his house. It was built a few years ago, and everything's pretty much outdated already, so he doesn't...
Where's it at?
Macedonia.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled it up on Google Maps, and the house isn't even on the map. Like, it just shows an empty lot.
Wow.
But he used to be the COO of GE, Ohio. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude makes a shitload of money. That's
right. So what's he want done?
So I'm gonna rewire his internet. He added a bunch of. They
okay.
finished their basement, so he put in a huge movie theater, which is pretty fucking phenomenal. They added a bunch of network devices, and their Wi-Fi sucks throughout the house. They got some old generic TrendNet Wi-Fi extenders that have been there for 3 years, 4 years.
I just put that Wi-Fi extender in.
That one.
Yep.
Yeah. Orby.
Cinder had it, and he bought the wrong fucking thing, and he's like, God damn it, I got the wrong fucking thing.
How's he doing?
So I said, well, let me have it. So I paid him for it. They're acting like fucking kids is what they're doing.
Yeah. That don't surprise me at all.
But he'll get there. You know, he's finding out that not everybody is his friend.
Yeah.
Fucking returning shit to her and.
What do you mean returning? Just telling them what's going on.
Just telling them fucking shit, and you're just like, really, dude?
Yeah. Does he know that a majority of people know about them and Danny when they were not sworn they were split up?
Who's them and Danny?
Tim and Courtney both fucking Danny.
Did not happen.
No?
No.
Then why would Danny say that to Jamie?
Because Danny likes fucking
Drama.
drama.
You're right about that. He sure is hanging out a lot with him, though.
Well, they're all friends, yeah. So they say.
Allegedly.
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 But that's what I told him. Like, man, not everybody's your fucking friend.
Yeah.
So he just blocked and dumped a couple people this morning.
Nice. How many guys in the club?
None.
That's good.
None. So far.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what he was afraid. You know, he's a big perception guy. You know, his image means a lot.
Yeah.
And he's an entertainer.
Yeah.
So people, you know. So he was all upset because of the things that she hadn't done before she left, and fucked him on this and fucked him on that. And I'm just like, bro, drop it.
How was their business gonna do?
He's not on that business. He's not on that business at all.
Sure.
Yep.
That's Margot. In the socialites group.
Yeah.
She's fun. She's a lot of fun.
Thanks, buddy. I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh, this is still recording, by the way. We need to pack some of that out.
Yep. Edit that shit.